Okay, so if you're learning Italian, I bet you've run into this one. In English, we have a super simple verb, to visit. But in Italian, that one little word splits into two different ideas, and, using the wrong one can lead to some pretty hilarious mistakes. So today, we're going to clear this up for good. So let's just jump right in with a super common sentence. I visited my grandma. Seems simple enough, right? But how do you actually say this so you sound like a native Italian speaker? This one question is really the key to the whole puzzle we're going to solve together. And here it is, the whole problem laid out right in front of us. Our one easy English verb to visit, well, it splits down two totally different roads in Italian. You've got visitare on one side, and this other phrase, andare a trovare, on the other. And trust me, they are not the same thing. Picking the right one is absolutely crucial. Okay, so let's get into it. How do we solve this? We're going to tackle each one of these piece by piece, starting with the one that probably feels the most obvious to us English speakers. All right, rule number one, and this is the big one for the first half of our problem. If you're talking about visiting a place, you're going to use visitare. Simple as that. Yep, visitare is your go-to verb for locations. Just think of it like this. It's for tourism, for exploring. If you can pull it up on a map, a city, a museum, a whole country, a monument, you using visitare. And you see this pattern everywhere. For instance, ho visitato Roma. I visited Rome, a city. Check. Abbiamo visitato il museo. We visited the museum. Another check. Or even something you might dream about. Vorrei visitare l'Italia. I'd love to visit Italy. See, every single time it's tied to a physical place. Pretty straightforward so far, right? Okay, so that's places covered, but what about people? What happens when you're visiting, say, a friend or family? Well, this is where that other phrase comes in. So instead of just one verb, Italian has this awesome little expression, andare a trovare. Let's break it down because it actually makes a ton of sense. Andare is to go, and a trovare means to find or to see. So you're literally going to find someone. It's all about the action of seeking out a person, not just touring a landmark. So you'd say, sono andato a trovare mia nonna. I went to visit my grandma. Or maybe you're making plans for the weekend. Andiamo a trovare degli amici. We're going to visit some friends. You see, the whole focus, the whole point is on the person. And just when you think you've got it, Italian gives you this other cool little layer of detail. Andare means to go, right? So that for when you are going somewhere. But what if someone is coming to you? Easy. You just swap andare for venire, which means to come. For example, I miei genitori sono venuti a trovarmi. My parents came to visit me. It's that simple. Same idea, you just change the verb based on the direction of travel. It's a tiny detail, but it makes your Italian sound so much more authentic. So, now we know the rules, but what happens if you get them mixed up? This is where we get to my favorite part, the single most common and honestly hilarious mistake that pretty much every English speaker makes. Okay, so back to grandma, the right way, as we now know, is sono andato a trovare mia nonna. But if you say, ho visitato mia nonna, oh boy, it's not just wrong, it's wrong in a way that paints a very, very funny picture. And the reason why is just perfect. Because when you say, ho visitato mia nonna, you're basically saying you treated your grandmother like a museum. Seriously, it sounds like you bought a ticket, took a guided tour of her, and maybe you checked out the exhibits as if she were the Colosseum. Once you get that image in your head, you will never make this mistake again, I promise. Now, to be fair, there is one tiny exception. A doctor can visitare a patient, which means to examine them. But honestly, unless you're talking about a medical checkup, just stick to the main rule. For 99% of your conversations, you can just forget about this one. Okay, so that might feel like a lot, but the actual rule here is super, super simple once it clicks. So let's just boil it all down to make sure it sticks for good. It really is this simple. Look at this. When you're visiting a place, you use visitare. When you're visiting a person, you use andare a trovare. That's it. That's the whole secret. Getting this right is a huge level up for your Italian. All right, You know the best way to really lock in a new language rule? You gotta use it, like right now. So let's do a quick pop quiz and see how you do. Okay, on the screen are 4 sentences. How would you translate them? First up, I visited Paris. Next, I went to visit my cousin. Then we visited a beautiful church. And finally, my friends came to visit me. Take a second. For each one, just ask yourself, is it a person or a place? And remember that last one is about them coming to you. That'll give you the answer. And there you have it. The real difference between visiting a place and visiting a person in Italian. It's one of those little details that, once you know it, makes you sound so much more natural. You know, it really makes you think, what other simple words that we use every day are hiding these beautiful, logical rules just beneath the surface, just waiting for us to find them?
Grazie for watching. Hit subscribe and keep learning Italian the smart way totally, right here on Italianissimo. A presto, ciao!